Fairfield County versus New Haven County. Which one should you actually move to? If you've been searching best place to live in Connecticut, you've probably landed on the same 5 towns everybody talks about. Westport, Darien, New Canaan, and then you just stopped there. But here's the thing nobody's telling you. Fairfield County is not your only option, and for a lot of buyers, not even your best option. I work both Fairfield County and New Haven County every single week, and I get this question constantly. Mary Beth, should we look in Fairfield County or should we go up to New Haven County? Today, I'm going to break it down for you. Real numbers, real towns, real trade-offs, so you can figure out which one actually fits your life, not just which one has the fanciest reputation. So let's get into it. If you're new here, I'm Mary Beth Grasso. I'm a realtor based right here in Connecticut. And this channel is all about helping people relocate to this state with actual clarity, not just glossy town tours. I work with a lot of relocation clients, a lot of people leaving New York City or coming completely from another state. And honestly, most of them start their search only knowing Fairfield County as a concept, without realizing New Haven County is right there, offering a different and sometimes better fitting version of the same Connecticut lifestyle. So, in this video, I'm comparing the 2 counties across the things that actually matter when you're deciding where to put down roots: the commute, home prices, schools, taxes, and day-to-day lifestyle. By the end, you'll have a much clearer sense of which side of the map you should be house hunting in. Quick note, both of these counties are huge with dozens of towns each. So I'm going to talk in patterns and give specific town examples. But if you want a breakdown for your specific situation, that's genuinely what I do all day. So reach out and let's talk. Let's go big picture. Geography and vibe. Let's zoom out first. Fairfield County is the southwestern corner of the state. It runs along the coast from Greenwich up through Stamford, Norwalk, Westport, Fairfield, Bridgeport, and Stratford. And it runs inland to towns like Ridgefield, Wilton, and Newtown. It's the part of Connecticut that basically functions as a wealthy, green extension of the New York City commuter belt. A lot of people who live here work in Manhattan, or used to, or their company is headquartered there. New Haven County sits just northeast of Fairfield County. It includes New Haven itself, home to Yale, plus shoreline lovely towns like Milford, Branford, Guilford, and Madison, and inland towns like Woodbridge, Cheshire, and Southington. New Haven County has its own gravitational center, and it's not Manhattan, it's Yale, and the medical biotech industry and the arts economy that's grown up around it, plus its own strong regional identity that's a little less New York suburb and a little more small New England city with real culture. So right off the bat, that's the fundamental difference. Fairfield County's whole identity is built around proximity to New York. New Haven County's identity is built around New Haven itself, a legitimate small city with a university, growing biotech corridor, great hospitals, dynamite restaurants, and its own downtown energy, plus quieter, more classic New England shoreline and countryside around New Haven. Neither one is better. They're just built around 2 different centers of gravity. Let's get into what that actually means for your day-to-day life, starting with the thing everybody asks about first: commute to New York City. Both counties sit on Metro North's New Haven train line. So technically, yes, you can commute into Grand Central from either county, but the experience a little bit different depending on where you are. From Fairfield County, you're looking at commute times that range from about 40 minutes out of Greenwich or Stamford up to around an hour and 15 minutes from Westport or Fairfield. A lot of these towns also have express trains during peak commuting hours, which shaves meaningful time off compared to the local train stopping at every single stop. From New Haven County, you're generally looking at 90 minutes to Grand Central on a good day, and it can stretch past 2 hours depending on the train and the time of day. I commuted from New Haven, so I know. New Haven itself is the northern end of the Metro North Line. So if you're commuting from New Haven, you're on the train for quite a while. Now, here's the nuance that a lot of people miss. If you're commuting 5 days a week into Manhattan, Fairfield County generally makes that lifestyle more sustainable, especially the lower Fairfield County towns like Greenwich, Stamford, and Darien, and Canaan. That extra 30 to 45 minutes each way, 2 times per day, 5 days a week, adds up to real hours of your life. But, and this is a big but, a huge number of my clients right now are not commuting into Manhattan 5 days a week anymore. They're hybrid, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, or they're commuting somewhere else entirely, into New Haven for a hospital or a biotech job, or they work remotely and just want occasional access to the city. For those buyers, that extra 30 minutes from New Haven County stops being a deal breaker because it's not a daily tax on your life anymore. It's an occasional commute into the office. So the real question isn't which county has a shorter train ride. It's how often are you actually making that trip? And what are you willing to trade for the time you save? All right, next let's talk about home prices and what you get for those prices. This is usually the part that changes people's minds the fastest. So let's talk about real numbers and a caveat up front. These are ballpark figures based on recent market activity, and I'll always pull the actual current comparable listings for whatever specific towns you're considering. In Fairfield County, the coastal and near coastal towns are genuinely expensive. Westport and Darien routinely see higher single family prices, well north of $1.5 million, $1.5 million. New Canaan and Greenwich can go even higher, especially for anything updated or in a really desirable cul-de-sac neighborhood. Even a town like Fairfield, which is more of a middle ground option, is commonly seeing median prices in the $700,000 to $900,000 range, depending on the neighborhood, and that number just keeps climbing. Norwalk and Stratford, they tend to be more accessible entry price points in Fairfield County. But accessible, honestly, it's all relative. We're still generally talking $450,000 and up for a starter single family home. Now, flip over to New Haven County. Shoreline towns like Guilford and Madison, which honestly have a similar New England walkable downtown, close to the water feel as some of the Fairfield County towns, you'll often find comparable homes for meaningfully less, sometimes 20% less than an equivalent property, say in Fairfield or Westport. Branford and Milford in New Haven County give you water access and a strong sense of community at a lower price. And inland towns like Cheshire, Woodbridge, and parts of Hamden offer excellent school districts and a lot more square footage and land for your dollar. Now, New Haven itself, it's a different animal. You can find real diversity in price in New Haven, from more affordable city neighborhoods to the East Rock and Westville areas, which have become quite desirable. They're walkable, they're close to Yale, they're close to great restaurants, and priced noticeably below what you'd pay for a comparable, walkable, downtown feel community in Fairfield County. Here's the honest summary. Dollar for dollar, New Haven County generally buys you a little more house and a little more land for the same budget, sometimes significantly more. Fairfield County's premium is really a premium on proximity to New York City and on a handful of very specific very branded towns. If access to Manhattan isn't your top priority, that premium might not be worth paying. Let's talk schools, because I know this drives a lot of decisions, especially for families. Fairfield County has some of the most nationally recognized public school districts in the country. Darien, Canaan, Westport, Ridgefield, Wilton. These schools in these towns consistently rank at the top of state and national lists. If having one of the highest ranked school systems in the entire country is a non-negotiable for you, Fairfield County has a high concentration of those towns. But New Haven County is not really far behind, and in some cases comparable. Cheshire, Guilford, Madison, and Woodbridge all have excellent, well-regarded school systems that regularly show up on top-ranked lists too. They just don't get the same national media attention that the Fairfield County towns do, partly because those Fairfield towns get constant coverage being so close to New York City. On taxes, this varies town by town more than it varies by county. So I want to be careful not to oversimplify it. But generally speaking, some of the higher priced Fairfield County towns actually carry relatively moderate mill rates because of their high property values and strong tax base. Greenwich is a good example of that. Meanwhile, some New Haven County towns and Connecticut cities in general can carry higher mill rates. So it's not automatically true that New Haven County is cheaper across the board once you factor in property taxes. You really have to run the numbers on the specific town and specific property. And that's something that I walk through with every single client. Let's go to lifestyle and everyday life. Let's talk about what your actual weekends look like, because this is where the two counties really diverge in personality. Fairfield County lifestyle tends to center around polished downtowns, boutique shopping, a strong country club, and golf culture in a lot of the towns, and easy access into the city for a show or a big dinner out when you want it. The Long Island Sound beach towns, again, Westport, Fairfield, Norwalk's little Rowayton neighborhood, they give you that coastal New England feel with a distinctly upscale, put together polish to it. New Haven County has a wider range of personalities depending on the town. The shoreline towns, Guilford, Madison, Bramford, give you a similar coastal New England charm. Historic town greens, local seafood shacks, but with a bit more of an unpretentious, lived-in feel and a lower cost to enjoy it. And then New Haven itself gives you something Fairfield County really doesn't have anywhere within it, a very special city. And Yale brings world-class museums, a serious restaurant scene. Honestly, New Haven's pizza reputation alone is worth an entire video. Theater, live music, and a walkable downtown with actual density and energy. If your version of a great weekend is a quiet beach club and a reservation at a white tablecloth restaurant in town, Fairfield County is probably going to be your vibe. It's going to feel right. If your version of a great weekend includes wandering around a college town, catching some live music, grabbing dinner at a local restaurant, grabbing a slice, and then driving 15 minutes to a quiet beach the next day, New Haven County might actually fit your life better and cost you less to live it. So, which one is right for you? Here's how I boil this down if you're trying to make the decision for yourself. Choose Fairfield County if you're commuting into Manhattan multiple days a week and that commute time genuinely matters to your quality of life. You want one of the highest ranked school districts in the entire country and you're willing to pay a premium for it. And the polished country club, coastal New England aesthetic is exactly the lifestyle you're picturing. Fairfield County is it. Choose New Haven County if your commute into the city is more occasional rather than daily, or you can work locally in healthcare, biotech, education, or even completely remotely. You want noticeably more home and more land for your budget, and you value a strong school district, but you don't need it to be a top 10 in the nation name, or you want access to real city culture. museums, restaurants, a university, energy, without the New York City project. And honestly, for a good number of my clients, the answer ends up being, can we look at both? Because the line between these two counties is a lot more porous than people expect. A town like Milford, for example, sits right near the border. It's the next town after Stratford, and it gives you a taste of both worlds. In closing, that's the real breakdown. Not just which county sounds fancier, but which one actually fits how you live. If you want to talk through your specific situation, your budget, your commute, your must-haves, drop a comment or reach out directly. That conversation is the fastest way to figure out which side of the map is right for you. If this was helpful, hit that subscribe button because I've got more town-by-town breakdowns coming for both Fairfield and New Haven County. I'll see you in the next video. Take good care.